Hey everyone, Nami here, and in today's video I want to talk about one of my favorite early to mid-game platinum farms in Warframe, which is the Orokin Vaults for corrupted mods. This is the kind of farm that does two things at once for you. First, it sets up your account with some of the strongest mods in the game, and secondly, it gives you a pretty reliable stream of platinum on the side. Once you get comfortable with this farm, you can easily sit around 20 vault openings per hour, which translates to somewhere in the 50 to 150 platinum per hour range, depending on what corrupted mods you pull. For early to mid-game players, this farm is insanely good value for your time. So, what's the catch? The way I run this farm, there is one non-negotiable requirement, which is that you will need Titania. To open an Orokin Vault, you need a specific type of dragon key. There are 4 types: Hobble, Bleeding, Decaying, and Extinguished. Each vault randomly demands one of those. If you're in a squad, you can spread them between players, but for this farm, since I'm running this solo, I will be using all the keys. To get these keys, you need an access to the clan dojo with an Orokin lab. Inside the lab, you can buy the dragon key blueprints. These blueprints are reusable, so you only have to pay the cost once. You can then head over to your foundry, craft the keys, and finally equip all 4 in your gear wheel. You can technically do vaults with any frame like Rhino or Limbo, but the whole idea of this method is speed and consistency, especially if you're running solo. Since vaults require dragon keys, when you're carrying all 4 dragon keys at once, your movement speed is nerfed, your health and shields get chunked, and your damage gets slapped. This is where Titania comes into play. You jump into Razor Wing and suddenly the speed nerf doesn't feel nearly as painful. If you don't have Titania yet, this is your sign to build her. She's not just good for walls, you end up using her for a ton of other farms as well. This is the Titania build that I use for the farm. Since this is an early to mid-game farm, I have very basic mods equipped for this build. As you can see, the only mods that might require some kind of grind would be Preparation and Razor Wing Blitz. I'd recommend to get Preparation to at least level 8 so you could have enough of energy at the start of the mission to fly around. The Razor Wing Blitz mod gives Titania a boost to fire rate and flight speeds when you cast an ability. For this strategy specifically, we want this mod for the flight speed boost, as damage is not going to be a concern since the monsters here are going to be level 12 to 14 anyways. Just tap your first ability once or twice for a good movement speed boost during your runs. Apart from them, the rest are pretty easy to obtain. It's majorly just efficiency and duration mods, so you can stay in your Razor Wing for as long as possible. You could use any mod for the aura to get the maximum amount of capacity to fit in all the other mods here. You can replace the base variant mods with the primed versions if you have them. There's no arcanes and also no shards required for the build. For the Dex Pixia, these mods are what I use. As mentioned earlier, since this is an early to mid-game farm, the mods here are going to be really basic and you can even exclude some of them if you don't have them. I still would suggest that you build Blast on your weapon as they help with AoE clear for eliminating enemies. You can keep Hornet Strike at level 5 as it's not going to matter that much. Mission wise, we are doing this on Horan Demos, which is a capture mission as it is quick to do the objective. Before getting into the strategy itself, I would want to show you all the possible locations in which the vaults can spawn. The map images that I'm going to be using here are taken from the Warframe wiki, so big credit to them for having everything documented. Once you know where all the possible doors can show up, your runs become extremely consistent. You're not randomly wandering around hoping to bump into a vault. That's how you reach the point where 20 vaults in 1 hour feels completely normal, and that's exactly where the 50 to 150 platinum per hour starts to make sense. The flow is simple. Before rushing to the objective, I will scan the different layouts that I could pass by to get to the objective, as vaults can only be in the layouts mentioned earlier. I will then do the capture objective, and the rest of the run is just a vault hunt. Over time, you start to recognize the tiles the moment you walk into them. You see certain layouts and your brain goes, okay, this room can spawn a wall, check left, check corners, check the back wall, etc., and you move on. Every successful vault open gives you one corrupted mod. Some of them are super common and only worth a few plats, while others are in almost every meta build and can sell for much more, especially if you're willing to max them out before trading. But even a level 0 sells for about 10 to 20 platinums each, depending on what you get. Over an hour of consistent farming, your drops average out. One run might give you something trash, the next run might drop a blind rage or another high demand mod, and it all adds up. That's why the range is a bit wide, 50 to 150 platinum per hour, because RNG is RNG, but your vault count per run is something that you can control with practice and routing. Now for a really fun piece of bonus tech that helps with the finding side of things, the Orokin Eye. If you've never used it before, Orokin Eye is an air support ability attached to the Parallax landing craft. When you call in an Orokin Eye charge during a mission, your ship scans a 150-meter radius around you and marks rare objects. In the context of these runs, the important part is that Orokin Eye can also mark Orokin Vaults. So whenever you're zooming through the maps and get to roughly the middle of the map or a big intersection where the tiles branch out in a couple of directions, instead of manually searching every path, you pop an Orokin Eye charge. If the vault is within the scan radius, you get a marker and you just beeline straight to it. No guessing, no backtracking. I personally use the Orokin Eye whenever I reach close to the extraction and find a big open layout where the vaults can be located. You can't spam it every 10 seconds because air support has a cooldown, but even using it once per mission in the right place could save you a ton of time. By no means this is completely necessary for the strategy, however, if you're starting out and you're still learning your way, this air support could come in handy for your first few runs. The Parallax is a landing craft that you can build via component blueprints that are rare drops from storage containers that you destroy in the Zariman missions. These blueprints can also be bought from the Warframe market. However, do note that to craft these components you will require the Zariman resources like Void Gel Orbs and Thrax Plasms, with the most demanding being the fuselage, which demands 30 Void Plume Quills. So you can skip the grind of farming these blueprints, however, if you don't have the Zariman missions unlocked yet, you could instead buy a fully made Parallax from the market for 150 platinum, which I wouldn't recommend. Once you've farmed up all the parts and built it in your foundry, and when you're in the orbiter, you can access the air support ability by navigating from menu, equipment, orbiter, landing craft, and then selecting the ability for your landing craft. From there, you just craft the air support charges which you can get in your clan dojo in the Tenno lab, equip them in the gear wheel, and then inside the missions hit your air support key whenever you want to fire off an Orokin Eye scan. I have mine set at F4. If you don't have Parallax yet, think of it as a side project that can directly buff this farm and also give you a really useful utility tool for other content as well. If this Orokin Vault farming breakdown helped you or gave you a clear path to start making some big amounts of platinum early on, please consider liking the video, as it really helps push it to more Tenno who might be stuck wondering how to afford their first few prime frames and slots. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I'm always working on more practical, farm-focused guides like these. Until then, stay grindy Tenno, and I'll catch you in the next one.